I'm just pondering here. I haven't been out here in months. I've got a new location where I'm putting the phone right now. So again, like I used to say, I'm trying to look straight ahead. My best bet is to look forward this way. I turn my eyes to take a look, see if I'm forward. I'm looking on the other direction. So don't mind me. I'm trying to look at you guys, but I'm looking past here. Maybe
a lot of buzz coming out of this
hold
panel,
on.
a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and a lot of news, a lot of information.
Don't know why that did that. Mute that. Okay, that should be better. Was watching Fresh Bake's take on what happened over last weekend at D23. Now we've all heard that we will be. Oh God, it's so sad. The rivers of America with Liberty Bell are going bye-bye. I don't know. No matter what, it's nothing we can say or do. They'll just do it anyway. They'll do it because they want to. They don't want to listen to anybody else. Now there are people like, well, I didn't go to Tom Sawyer Island. I mean, you didn't have to go to Tom Sawyer Island. I'm talking about the trip with a Liberty Bell around the island. I know it's a slow ride. I know it is. It's something. It's iconic. It's just something you know you were going to get when you went to the Magic Kingdom. And now it's going to go by because they're going to probably take the dirt that's been in the Magic Kingdom parking lot for the last few years, that gigantic pile of dirt, and bring it over and fill up that area. Oh my God, could you imagine? We just got Epcot for about 4 or 5 years, had Scrim Up for the longest time. This is going to happen now. What's going to happen is it's going to probably start from Haunted Mansion, go all around, of course, where the Frontierland and everything, and over in front of Tiana's to Big Thunder Mountain. And that's going to be whack. It's going to be very wacky. I had an idea what they could do with a riverboat. She still can run without the track. They only use her on the track inside the park, but she's fully functional. I'm thinking maybe they can dock her near like the Grand Floridian, have get guests over like a ferry, which it is, or we bring it over, have her docked. She could dock over in the area where they repair the boat all along. Probably maybe have like a tour going around, the waterways, and you can do that inside Liberty Bell. That's an old ship. The only reason she exists, there used to be two. The Admiral Joe Fowler looked exactly like the Mark Twain over in Disneyland. There's another story going on with it, but that would be more political of why they're picking on Tom Sawyer Island. Mind you, it's Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer. You can go run with that. But I don't know. I just, I was watching Fresh Bake's take on the new Cars Land and stuff. It looks spectacular, but they could be put somewhere else. They've got the room. They just don't want to connect it to the park, and I don't understand. I mean, instead of being outside, it has to be inside. Why? Before Tron was built, I used to have a nice spot where I used to stay to get away from the crowds, and that was a smoking section, which is now Tron. Where the train went through and everything was a nice, quiet section. You could see Space Mountain off the side and stuff. And sometimes they would let people out from the side because a breakdown or whatever. I mean, I used to go. I didn't care about the smoke. It didn't bother me. I just went over, sat there, for maybe an hour just to get away from the crowds. Then the same thing when that was going on. I went over to Tom Sawyer Island. As I said, I am not a fan of it. I mean, it's Old West, and I know it would have to change, but I always assumed that if it was going to be, it could be a smaller land with a restaurant on it or something like that. But who knew that they were take where the Indian villages are and everything, and just destroy them, rip everything into, pack it down, put rocks in it, concrete, anything they could. But most of the I think most of the dirt that's been sitting in the Magic Kingdom parking lot for years is going to be pushed over into there. I can see that. I mean, why else would it be? I heard it was starting to be worked on. Meaning, how far away do we have until they actually close the Liberty Bell down? I've said to friends, I don't know if I want to go to that side of the park when it reopens. But in order to get to Haunted Mansion, which it's gonna look weird from the Haunted Mansion, could you imagine? The Haunted Mansion will look down below to cars racing each other, going up a mountain, coming down in a steep way. I don't understand that one. The other, plus somebody has said, you've got Tomorrowland and Adventureland across from each other. You're going to have, of course, Tomorrowland Speedway versus the Cars section. Why didn't they just retheme the now I can't think. Why don't they just retheme Tomorrowland Speedway to Cars? Make it a little different. It doesn't have to be them going around, or make it electric cars or whatever. It just annoys me. Oh, it's gonna be so sad seeing coming in the park. There's no Liberty Bell. I mean, when they were down fixing a track, I could understand that. I'm not saying her. I've seen videos of them taking her back when they were done with her and going across the Seven Seas Lagoon to Rivers of America. I mean, there was a video on it a couple of years ago. Who knew she wasn't going to be here? Now, let's cut from that, because so far that's the only one we've got an announcement for. Monsters Inc. When I seen it, I didn't expect it. I heard about it years ago, but I dropped that idea years ago. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know it was coming back. The idea of it coming back when it was first announced years ago. Now that people are like, oh, well, they could take the Muppets down and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Take not Galaxy's Edge. Take out Star Tours. I'm like, wait a minute. If you bring that gigantic building, which it really looks big, and put it where the Muppets are, Mama Melrose is over on one side. The other side is what's left of the Streets of America, with that building that's that V-shaped look, where the baseline restaurants. So you would have to take that old structure from the old Hollywood studio down. You'd have to do something about Mama Melrose, because it's supposed to be one of those older buildings in there. This ride will look gigantic. You can't do it. Plus, you go into Galaxy's Edge, you're going to have a building from Monstropolis being seen from Batuu. Does that make any sense to anybody here? It's ridiculous. The courtyard where where Little Mermaid and Star Wars. Here we go again. I forget. Imagine, I'm 58 years old. I do forget names of items and names of things too. The launch bay, Star Wars launch bay. I've always said they should move it on the other side of the park, make the whole interior, the whole area right there, Star Wars. Well, if the Muppets were there, I would be really pushing for that. But the Muppets are sitting there, and you can't really do anything about that. Not now. It's just crazy. If you put it in the courtyard there, not the Muppets courtyard, but the other side of the park, launch bay. I don't know. It's something. I've seen bird's eye views of stuff from, like, pictures taken from overhead. I mean, there's other small minor buildings. I don't know what those are connected to or whatever. I don't know. They could expand out into the parking lot. make it a big area in the parking lot. You got a lot of room there. There's the other side where I used to park when I used to come in, when the side entrance is now gone because they had, was originally gone because of the Star Wars Hotel and employee parking. They could do, if they expand it to the parking lot, what could be done is, if right now the parking over there is, you can easily get a parking space. It's not that hard. It's not out of capacity. But worst comes to worst, do what Disneyland has done, is make parking garages. We did it in Disney Springs. Thank God. That was I would go into that place before the parking garages. You could never find a parking spot. I mean, I remember driving, pulling in the parking lot, driving around 4 or 5 times before somebody actually pulled out. I didn't care where they were parked. They could have parked 100 miles away. I'd take the bus or, well, whatever, and come over. But wow. Yeah, so they could expand out into that and do something about covering up, backside of Galaxy's Edge. All you need to do is, I don't know, just paint something, put it just to block it off. I don't know. It's a big building. This is a big building. That thing's gonna stick up through. You can't, as I said, you can't. Kill the idea of it's going to be the Muppets. Remember what sits right there, and you want to walk through. You're going to tell them you're going to walk through the entrance of Galaxy's Edge from the Muppet side. It's basically a highway from California. What do? You retheme that to like a Monsters Land type of thing, where the entrance to Galaxy's Edge is going to be different. I don't know. I can't wait for the new parade, Starlight. Last time I was at a nighttime parade was the old electric you guys know what I'm talking about. The electric parade from Moonscope. No, 2011. It was 2011 last time I seen that. Before they moved over to Disneyland, put it up there about 2 or 3 times, and this is our first one since Spectral Magic. I never seen Spectral Magic. I've only seen the video of it. So, but I can't wait for this one. Something finally. I mean, will they have it before the parade? I mean, before not the parade. Will they have the parade before Happily Ever After or after it? Here's another thing. I wish they would bring back Once Upon a Time. I love that. That was a good show. I mean, you had back to back. I mean, it was loud, but you had that giant boom that went off. I mean, but you would just watch the fireworks too. So, well, I hope that people are like, "Oh, you're being negative." I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be, come on. Stop it with these, what I think it's going to go here. I think, well, wait and see. Just wait and see what they have in store for it. I don't know. I've always said they should have, expanded the parks. I know they don't want to build a fifth gate right now, but expand the parks. They had enough. They were enough announcements in D23 for they could build a whole new park with all the rides they want to put in. Yeah, that's even with Disneyland's stuff. Last thing I want to do, and now this is not Disney World related, but the new animatronic from Walt Disney going into Disneyland. I brought that up years ago, and people got on my case. That's sacrilegious. With Walt. His family gave the okay for them to do it. So if the family has nothing, no problem with it, I would love to see what I would love to see them bring it here, put it in Epcot, and have the animatronic of Walt doing his speech for the Florida project. I would love to see that. And maybe, who knows, maybe Walt Disney Pavilion with everything. When I'm talking about the model, the model of Epcot, which sits on the People Mover. A lot of you've seen what I'm talking about. It's a giant model. The other stuff could come from, closed down Walt Disney Presents, and just make like a museum for Walt somewhere in a small pavilion over in Epcot. I mean, it was Epcot, his baby. Magic Kingdom came second to him on this. It was Epcot. I'm trying to imagine what Disney would have been like if Walt had never lived another 20 years until 1986. Walt would have been in his 80s. I'm very sure he retired, but still, I don't think we would have seen other parks. At that point in time, Epcot would be a city. Magic Kingdom would be the only park. I don't see any water parks. And maybe, because there was talk of water parks. But I don't see Hollywood Studios' Animal Kingdom being an idea. I just don't know. They could have came years later. Michael Eisner probably would have never been in charge. Disneyland would still have their people move over. I mean, that would have been a lot different. Walt wasn't about, putting new parks over 5 seconds. I'm very sure Walt had wished, if he had known how big Disneyland would have become, he would have bought more land. Oh well, yeah, that's my thing, and I haven't been on in a couple months because, well, I was gonna vlog from Disney another time, but the problem is my brand new what do you call it, gimbal. That sucker worked one time. I tried to bring it back. I tried to hear, see if it worked. It just would not go back up, and it would swoop around and stuff, and I had the camera on it like this, and it would swoop around and just went. So if I would love to have gotten to Disney before they take away the drones over at Disney Springs. I'm gonna miss that. I don't understand why Disney has to have a certain let's keep it up for a couple months and that's it. Why? Keep it up longer than that. You've got worlds of people coming, all over the place, and you just stop getting rid of things. Could you imagine what Walt must have think of, if he was still alive, what would he think? What are you people doing with my parks? I can imagine. I couldn't imagine. I mean, Walt wasn't that type of person to get mad, but I could see him. So I could see it. I just could see it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I could see him getting, what is going on here? I'm going to put this up. I might vlog again to keep the place. I would love to do like a video with a couple friends in it, but we don't know how to hook it up to put and bring on other people. I'm not sure how to do that. One of my friends, Jordan, he started his own channel, and I'm hoping one day we can do maybe once a week, where we sit there and talk about Disney news for the week or something like that. All right. I'm gonna go off for now. I'm not sure. I might come on a couple days with the announcement, if the announcement a couple days for Monsters Inc. or whatever. But see you guys then. I hope I'm looking directly at you. This is odd. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Good night.